Hello, Houston. It's Elizabeth Miranda, your bilingual realtor. Sorry, caught me off guard. Your bilingual realtor with Miranda Properties. And welcome to our show, Casa y Vida Houston on CBBA Radio. And first thing we want to do is talk about our sponsors today. So our show is sponsored first of all, by Susie Condelopoulos. Susie is a loan officer with Gateway Mortgage. If you're looking to get pre-approved for a home or get your home refinanced, contact Susie. She is bilingual, and her number is 281-250-2696. Next, we have Texas Low Cost Insurance Agency. They are an insurance agency located in Deer Park. But they can help you. It doesn't matter where you are, anywhere in Houston, because they can do quotes and even sell you insurance on the phone. Their phone number is 281-941-2863, and they can help you anywhere in Houston, and they specialize in homeowners insurance. Guys, don't forget, this is the time to get your flood insurance. Super important. Flood insurance, if you're not in a flood zone, is only $350 to $400. So make sure you give them a call to get that flood insurance in place. All right. Well, today we are going to have some very special guests. We're going to be talking to Walter Damacas. But he is going to talk to us about fitness, but that's going to be a little bit later on in the show. So make sure that you stay tuned if you want to listen to him talk about being fit or staying fit, and specifically the myths about fitness. But before we get to him, I want to introduce you to our co-host. We have a co-host today, and her name is Sonia Rivera. Welcome, Sonia.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome, Sonia. We are super excited to have you. Now, Sonia and I go way back many, many years working with NHPO and other organizations, but I want Sonia to introduce herself for those of you that don't know her. I know many, many, many of you know her, but for those that don't, Sonia, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background.
Hi, Liz. Well, thank you again for having me here. I have been in business for myself for about 11 years now, but before that, I worked with a nonprofit doing managing programs. And so I got my experience with program development. I have about 20 years of experience in program management and development. So when I started my business, I saw that there was a need I really didn't know anything about starting a business when I did it. So I did a lot of research. I actually spent about 2 years researching what the human resources, logistics were, what were the certifications, what was the legal aspects of it, the accounting. So I started doing small business development. Once I had that down, once I started my business, I had a lot of people approach me and asking me questions about not only starting a nonprofit as well as starting a business. So I decided that that was a good way to help the community further and invest invest what I had already learned back into the community. So I started, so now we do small business development. So if you have an idea for a business, I'd be happy to meet with you and discuss everything from the competition to how to, office location, how to do your marketing, as well as the major logistics of it, like the licensing, the accounting, the type of business you should open, the legal aspects, and connect you with the right people. So that's really my bread and butter. I also do front and back office support. So a lot of people really don't understand the logistics of like payroll, very standard stuff such as bookkeeping, training and development for their employees. So we come in and do the whole spectrum of business services. So what we start out doing is we do an analysis of what your needs are. If you're an existing business, we come in and do an analysis of what your needs are, and based on that and what your goals are for your business, we'll develop a plan, a strategic plan, and move forward from there.
Well, that's that sounds very exciting and very much in need, Sonia. I know that some people might think, well, that's a lot of things, but honestly, everything that you're talking about are all the different things that a person who's new to business needs to know about. Yeah. And as you know, Sonia, I'm sure you know that they say most businesses fail in the first 5 years, and I can tell you as a a solo entrepreneur, or I should say a multi-entrepreneur, you know, because I've had, you know, many businesses at different times, and that there's so many aspects to a business, right? And I think that a lot of people just don't realize, like they're good at one thing, so they're like, okay, I'm gonna start a business. You know, I'm good at being a hairdresser, so I'm gonna start, you know, I'm gonna get a shop. I'm good at doing income taxes or insurance or anything like that, and they think they're just gonna start a business, not realizing that there's so much that you need to know about, and so they fail for that reason. And I think that that's just an awesome thing, that I think that a lot of times people don't know where to go, who to turn to when they're starting a business. So you're basically there for anyone who's starting a new business also, right?
Yes, exactly. So yeah, and exactly, like I said, I did a lot of research into what I needed to do, and certifications and small, when I say certifications, I mean there's a lot of benefits to having a minority-owned business, a women-owned business, and a lot of people aren't familiar with the process and what it means, and it's actually a very tedious process. And if you don't really understand what the questions are, what paperwork is necessary, a lot of people give up and just don't do it. In fact, it took me a few years to get it done because it was just such a tedious process. And it's since gotten a lot better, but a lot of people really still struggle with that. So I want to make sure that, for one, the Latino community has the opportunity to apply for those types of programs if it's available to them, and if it's something that they're interested in. The certifications are actually good for all types of businesses, from professional services all the way to construction services. So it's a really beneficial program for many people.
And what is that certification that we're talking about?
So so you can get a minority small business certification, small business enterprise. You can get a disadvantaged minority. Sorry, it's a bunch of acronyms. Minority owned business, or you can get a woman-owned business certification.
And what is that? And just in general, I mean, I know that the show's not about that, but just kind of give us a brief understanding. Why would someone want to get that?
Well, there's some. So I don't really know the government terminology, but each company, each corporation is required when they have a contract out for, let's say, to construction. So if somebody's building a building and they have funding to do so by the government, then the government requires them to have usually a 33% minority participation. So that means that they have to give at least 30% of their contracts to minority-owned businesses. So those certifications come in handy in circumstances like that. It's really more beneficial for like city contracts, county and state contracts, federal contracts.
Yeah, you know, I've actually heard that, in fact, that is true, that certain corporations have to give so much business to minority-owned businesses, you know, or contractors or subcontractors, and sometimes it's hard for them to find them, because a lot of these small or minority-owned businesses don't have that certification. Isn't that true?
Yeah, so that's exactly true. And it's, you know, there's pros and cons to it. So like I said, I get just as much business from having it as not having it. So it is beneficial to have, because you never know when that perfect opportunity is going to come up and you can utilize that certification. But, you know, it's not the end all and be all. So like I said, I didn't have it for the first 3 years, and it didn't really hurt me, but it certainly doesn't hurt to have the certification.
Right. And there are some people that really need that, or maybe, there's people that aren't aware of it, and then there's people that really need it and just don't know how. I mean, I've heard of it for many years, but I always thought, it's probably a very difficult process.
Yeah.
I have to admit. So, or maybe I thought I didn't need it, but actually, you know, it turns out that it might be something that's beneficial. But again, like I said, I'm sure that there are people out there that are wanting to get that certification, and you would be able to help them with that. Is that correct?
Sure.
And okay, and you said also just helping. Is it only new businesses or existing businesses? What types of businesses are you able to help as far as consulting?
So the structure is the same for all business. So every business needs to have a good accounting system. Every business should have legal representation. Every business needs to have basic understanding of human resources and how hiring practices and payroll practices. So those are the very basics, the foundation of any business. And earlier when you mentioned that a lot of businesses fail, when I've gone into various businesses, human resources was actually one of the biggest problems because people, you can't hold back paychecks from people. You can't, speak to people in a certain way. There has to be a certain level of communication, policies and procedures. I'm really, really big on policies and procedures. So if a company doesn't have that, that's one of the services that we provide, is create one for them, because it's really important that you have procedures for any possible circumstance that might arise in your business. And it's for your protection as well as the protection of your employees, because a lot of businesses actually have gone under just because they didn't have procedures in place, and you have verbal agreements or oral conversations with people, and it's just not enough. You really have to have things on paper and things in your employee files. So that's one of the biggest issues that I've seen when I go into a business. And so we go into existing businesses. Like I said, it will evaluate what they already have and identify what their needs are and go from there. Or if as I said, I'll repeat it over and over, that I did so much research before I started my business, because I knew the statistics of the failure of, the 5%. What was it? 5%? I knew it was a high statistic that
No,
businesses fail.
a lot more than 5%, maybe over 50%.
Yeah. So I was really trying to avoid that for myself, and thank goodness I think that I did enough research on the subject that I'm still in business 11 years later. But I had so many people that I asked, I before going into it, I asked so many questions of so many people, and there was a lot of people that were like, well, it's really difficult, or why do you want to do that, or are you sure? It was just very, not always a very encouraging experience. And so I really like helping others, and I had a lot of questions. Once I did it for myself, I had a lot of questions, and people asking me, what do I need to do? How do I start it? And I really didn't want to be that person that I experienced along the way. So anything that I can do to help somebody, to lead you in the right direction, give you internet sites, or provide you with any information, I'll do that. And if you really need more extensive help, then that's where we come in and do the business analysis with you.
Right, and contacts. I know that Sonia is very well known in the community, very well connected. She knows many people. She knows the right people. Again, she's been in business and nonprofit. She's volunteered in so many different organizations. So she just pretty much knows someone. She can guide you in the right direction. Yes. Now, of course, Sonia also has her own business also. So tell us about your new business, or existing business, rather.
So we've branched out. Part of the business development that I had been doing was for a couple of construction companies. I've been doing the development with connecting people. As you said, I know a lot of people in the community and just throughout the county, actually, through all the networking that we do and organizations that I've been involved with. So I do know a lot of people, and I do enjoy connecting people. So I went in to do the business development for a couple of construction companies, and I really enjoyed it. I realized that that was a niche that I really wanted to join. And so I've expanded, and we're doing residential remodels as well as commercial remodels. So I'm really excited about launching that new venture. And we have several crews that we have available for all of your needs. Basically, we have crews that can completely build if you're trying to build a new house, completely build your new house from the ground up. We've had a lot of Harvey impacted customers, unfortunately, and so I've been able to see also a lot of the abuse that's out there by contractors, and really the awful ways that they take advantage of homeowners. And it was already a devastating situation that a lot of homeowners and businesses went through. And having been witness in the last year to the different tactics that they use, or the substandard work that they've done, it's really sad. It's really a shame. So I'm really excited at this new venture, and being able to be an advocate, not only for, obviously we're in business because it's, where we want to make money, but it's also, you have to look out for people, and you can't really be, you're not going to, you might make some money by being underhanded, but at the end of the day, you get more customers, you make more money if you're a good ethical contractor and you work with integrity and honesty.
Well, that sounds great. Well, we look forward to hearing more about your business and future programs also. We're going to go ahead and take a little commercial break right now, and we will be right back. Well, welcome back to our show, Casa y Vida Houston. And now for our next segment, I want to talk to you a little bit about real estate, because you know we got to talk about real estate always for the Casa part. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about getting your home ready for sale. This past week, I met with about 3 different people that we, are going to list their home. Actually, one of them already listed it, and we actually sold the home in 24 hours. The other 2, we just are going to list their home this weekend. But one of the things that's very important is when you're going to list a home is to get your home ready for sale. So that kind of got me thinking about some of the things that I like to talk to people about getting their home ready for sale. So let's talk about some of these things here, and I know I've got it. I've got a list here, so I'm looking at my phone. But one of the things that we want to do is we definitely want to, I want to encourage you is to make sure that you clean your house. That's super important. And you would say, of course, I'm going to clean my house. But by that we mean it has to be thoroughly, thoroughly clean. You want to make sure, even your dishes, if you've got dishes, make sure that you put your dishes up. You want the house, look at this picture right here on the screen. This picture is spotless. You want your home to look like a model home. You want it to be, as little like not even lived in, right? So you want your home to be spotless. So make sure that you clean everything, clean the walls, clean the mirrors, clean everything. Another thing would be the smells. Make sure that there's no smells. Things like dogs or cats. Just yesterday I was out showing homes, and I could, as soon as we walked in the door, we could smell, the cat, that there were cats in the house. So you want to make sure that you take care of any kind of odors, and even smoking. If you're don't smoke in your home. If you're about to sell your home, get it cleaned out, disinfect it, and start smoking outside. The other thing would be even cooking. I have actually been to homes where they cook things that have very bad odors, maybe tuna or fish or just different types of, some foods that are very spicy, and you walk into the home and it's just overwhelming, the smells. Another thing would be, of course, painting. And Sonia, you are working construction, right? So I know that you'll agree with this, right? That I think that they should paint in neutral colors.
Definitely, definitely. So I mentioned to you earlier that I'm currently looking for either an apartment or a condo, and a lot of them are very, very nice places, but they're painted pink or they're painted purple or some weird color. And I think that, and as a renter, you're not really necessarily always going to have the freedom to change up the colors. So it does, that there was some properties, really nice properties that I've looked at that I just passed on just because of, that simple little thing that should be changed. I think definitely neutral colors.
Exactly. So if you see on the screen right here, this picture, right, you see the before and after. That blue, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the color, but it just makes more sense to have it a neutral color, that tan color, right? Because that's going to go with everything. And when people walk into, like you said, you're looking for an apartment, right? And you're like, okay, that's not going to go with my decor, and it's not your apartment. You're not going to be able to paint it, or even if they gave you permission, that's not something you want to do. Sure. You don't want to take on that responsibility. As a new homeowner, the same thing. I show homes all the time, and the homes, you walk into a home and it's got a dark blue wall or a bright pink wall, and honestly the new prospective homeowners can't get past that. They simply are like, well, that's just too bright. It's just too bright, and the thought of having to deal with having to paint that is just not something that they want. So you want to make sure that you paint, and that you paint in neutral colors. Anything else that you noticed? You said you were looking at places. Anything else that you've noticed that kind of maybe turned you off, or?
Well, I think that again, keep it clean and clutter free, because if all you can see is people's clutter, you can't get past that. And I know a lot of homes are still lived in while they're showing the property, and so that's a really big deal. You really have to keep it very simple, and I understand that it's probably hard to live in a home where everything's put away constantly, but if you know somebody's coming, definitely hide your personal stuff. I think that people really need to be able to see themselves living in there, and it's really hard to to visualize that as your new home if you see other people's.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what I always tell people. I say, get rid of the personal touches. You've got all these knickknacks. That's just, just get rid of them. You've got I don't know, a dog collection, a frog collection, any kind of collection, put it up, just anything. Also, if you have a lot of family pictures, take them off. You don't want people looking at your pictures, or, you want them, as Sonia said, you want them to be able to imagine themselves in your home. And if it's filled up with your own things, they won't be able to get past that. Okay, so that absolutely is very, very important. And one of the things is that, I always tell people, start packing. You're going to move anyway. Start packing. Put everything in boxes. Put it in storage, and then you can just move it to your new home. Of course, if you've got your garage, it'd be nice to have an empty garage. But if nothing else, if you can't store it, then put everything in boxes and put it in your garage. That is absolutely very important. And another thing which is very important is that nowadays people are looking online. Sonia, are you looking online?
Yes, yeah. That's the first thing that I do is look online before I even make that trip to the property.
Right, right. And so you're making decisions based on pictures.
Right.
Absolutely. Right. And so sometimes I find that, if a home has too much clutter or just too much stuff, people are focused on those items and not on the actual house.
There's another thing too that I noticed. So I want to see the outside of the house as well as the inside. And so when I only see pictures of the inside of the home, then it makes me wonder what's wrong with the outside. So I would definitely take pictures of the outside, of the landscape. All of that stuff makes a huge difference. If I don't see the community that I'm going to live in, then that's also another deterrent. I won't even go take the next step and look at that house.
Well, those are actually very important points that I didn't have on my list. But the community, you're right. One of the things that I do when I list a home is I don't not only take a picture of the home from different angles, but of the street. I like to take a picture of the whole street so that people can see the other homes in the community where they're going to be living. And speaking of curb appeal, that's also very important. Like you said, when they first come to your house, it's their first impression of your home. So you want to make sure that the landscaping is very clean, very neat. It's worth it to pay a little bit of money to do a little bit of landscaping. And if you really don't have the money or the time or the desire, maybe you can just get some big plants, some big plants with big colorful flowers, especially right now that it's the summer. Put some plants in front of your house. Make sure that the house is inviting and appealing, and that it's attractive, because that's the first impression, right? Very, very important. Let's see what we got here also. Let there be light. Definitely make sure that the house is well lit. One of the things that happens to me, and it's just happened recently, is that I went to go show some homes that honestly the homes were beautiful. From the outside they were beautiful. From the inside I could tell that they were very attractive, but everything was closed. All the shades were closed, the curtains were closed. Of course it was painted in very dark colors too. And so my clients couldn't really appreciate the home. They really couldn't see it that well. Whereas when you go into a home where all the windows are open, the blinds are open, it's very bright, everything is white, that brightens it up. Like this picture right here, for instance, you see where they have the white. You would think the white is boring, but actually it looks very clean and it looks very bright. So this is exactly what you're going for. You're going for that clean look, well put together. Right here, this picture right here shows a bathroom. Again, it's all white, and you would think that that's very simple, but look at how it looks very clean, very refreshing. The towels, white towels, are just amazing. They're very cheap to get, and you can add those to your bathroom, and it's going to make it look like a spa. Very, very, very clean. So these are just some tips that I hope that you will keep in mind. If you're looking to sell your home, it's very important that that you pay attention to these little things in order to get your home ready for sale. All right, so we are going to go ahead and take a little break, and then we will come back, and we will be joined by our guest, our special guest, to talk about fitness. All right, Well, welcome back to Casa y Vida Houston on CBBA Radio. And again, I'm Elizabeth Miranda with Miranda Properties, and then my co-host is Sonia Rivera, consultant. And we have our special guest today, and our guest is Walter Tamacas, and he is with Be Strong Fitness. Welcome, Walter.
Thank you for having me. I'm very glad to be here.
Well, we are very excited to have you because, you know, that is a hot topic. It's always a topic that's something we always want to know about fitness. So, first of all, Walter, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So I'm a personal trainer, first of all. So I've been, training for 15 or so years, starting my own journey maybe about 20 years ago. So a little familiar with it. I'm also a professional natural bodybuilder. So I've kind of got to top level, professional level on the bodybuilding and physique competition. I'm also a gym owner, so I've got my own gym where I teach. I have personal training, one-on-one, semi-private training, also group classes, which I'm trying to grow right now, and big focus on nutrition, changing lifestyle and habits and things like that to make somebody just live a healthier lifestyle.
Okay, and where is your gym located, first of all? What side of town are you at?
So I'm in the northwest side of town. I'm kind of in between city center, I-10, going Beltway and 290 area, just maybe 5 minutes north of city center. Okay,
so tell me, as far as, you say you're a trainer and you're a bodybuilder. First of all, do we all have to have a desire to be a bodybuilder to work out with you?
Not at all, absolutely not. And actually, to tell you the truth, I work with mainly beginners to intermediate. Your typical person that has a job, has a family, has kids, and they're just trying to improve their lives by being fit. And how can they, improve their lives and be more fit with so many things going on. So I'm really more of helping them change their lifestyle for the better and using fitness as a tool.
Okay, and I don't know if I guess I don't think you've answered this, but how did you get started in this? First of all, how long ago and how did you get into this?
It's been a passion of mine ever since I was, had a garage gym. Had a little bench press in high school, and it was just, going into the garage and just working out, and it was just something that I love to do. First of all, for the, when you're a teenager, maybe, you just want to look better, give you more confidence and things of that nature. As you grow older and wiser, then it becomes more, I saw the link between being fit and healthy physically and how it links to being fit and healthy mentally, spiritually, just the whole person as a whole.
Now, have you always been fit? Pretty much?
I would say, I've pretty much always been active, I've had to work hard for the physique that I've achieved as far as bodybuilding, of course, but I would say that I've always been active ever since, playing sports and from middle school, high school, and things of that nature.
And have you always done this as a career, as a business, fitness?
No, I actually haven't, I actually went to school for finance. I was in finance for 10, 12 years in banking, mortgage, a little bit of real estate. But I never left fitness as far as like a, something that interested me. I was actually always training people like on the side and things like that. While I was going to college pursuing my finance degree, I was actually doing personal training. So it's one of those things where I finally learned that in life, don't chase the money, chase your passion. Chase your passion, and then, if you're passionate about it, you'll be successful.
That's true. That's what we're all told, right? Is do what you're passionate, passionate about, and the money's going to follow. And it's not all about money. It's about, doing what you're passionate about, and you're going to be best at doing what you're passionate about. So tell me, there's a lot of trainers out there. Well, not a lot, but I'm sure there's plenty. But what sets you apart? How are you different than another trainer?
Good question, and because, there are a lot of trainers, and you do have to set yourself apart, so I had to get in the shoes of the person and ask myself, why would I want to train with Walter, and first and foremost is I do have a passion for fitness, and as somebody that gets to know me and sees my lifestyle knows that fitness is a passion for me, and not just, again, the physique part of it, but the mental, because when I do a lot of posts and the motivation that comes behind it is really how to improve the lifestyle. So you feel the passion just being around me, following me, and things like that. The other thing is that I customize to the person very much, meaning that I have to get to know the person in order to help them achieve their goals. It's not about a certain diet. I don't believe in strict diets. I don't believe in strict programs and trying to fit somebody into that program. What I try to do is try to fit the fitness lifestyle into somebody's lifestyle, around their family, around their career, you know. And I find that if we do that, they're able to be more successful with it, you know, as opposed to, oh, let me try to force you to get into this diet, you know. So it's a very much of a holistic approach, I can say, to, you know, finding the habits. How do I change these habits so that they can be more successful to the fitness, and in that manner they'll be more successful in life, in the relationships, in the careers, business owners, things of that nature. So it's all very linked, you know, and people that are around me, they'll see that link. They know that I'm not just about trying to get a six-pack, trying to lose weight. It's like, great, we'll get there, we'll get to your goal. However, how is this going to benefit you in your life? Because if you can see that benefit, you'll be more motivated to follow this program, and not just for the short term, but for the long term.
So I have a question for Walter. So Walter, I do not like to work out. So most of my friends work out, and I'll be the one watching them eating popcorn on the sidelines. So I hate to work out. So I do try to eat very healthy and walk. So I do enjoy walking a lot. But as far as lifting, I heard this morning that lifting weights helps increase bone density. And I was really surprised to hear that, because I know as people age, your bone density lessens. So is that accurate, or what do you think about that?
That's accurate, and actually you hit my first bullet point as far as the first myth. So that's good. Yes, very accurate. It's very important that strength training, for men and women, it does, yeah, as we get older, we lose that bone density. It helps you prevent osteoporosis. It just keeps you stronger, your joints stronger, keeps you from having an injury in the future. You know, so that's kind of what holds the muscle, is kind of what holds your body together, you know. So, but as you're working out the muscle, you're also strengthening the bone, you're strengthening the joints. You want to look at it as you're strengthening movement, basically. And what happens when we get older, we get less mobile, so we want to continue that movement, you know, and we do that by, you know, strength training will help tremendously with that.
So, and I'm trying to do better. I'm really, but I would be your most challenging client, because, it's not the idea, it's not the working out that I have a problem with, it's the idea of working out. So I've actually, you know, tried it on occasion, and I'll do it for 3 or 4 days, and I'm like, okay, that's enough. But the thing is that I get bored. I get very bored, and watching television doesn't help me. You know, sometimes the television is on while I'm trying to work out, and that doesn't help. Music doesn't seem to help. It's just any organized activity I find a problem with. So that's why I enjoy walking, because it's a change of scenery. But I don't know. I think, what would you recommend? Because I'm sure I'm not the only one that has that issue. So what would you recommend?
No, not at all. And that's a perfect example of how I like to kind of get in deeper, get to know the person, and see what is it that's kind of holding them back, right? Because what you need to know about fitness is that there's many ways to get there, to get fit. So what we need to figure out is, okay, so this question that I get a lot is, what's the best form of cardio? You know, what's the best form of cardio so that I can burn the most fat? Well, what I tell people is the one you enjoy the most, right? Now, that can seem like a simple question, but maybe it's not that simple, because a lot of times we don't know, right? So what I would invite people is try different things. You know, if you enjoy walking, that's going to be your best form of cardio, actually. So if you enjoy walking, that means that you kind of enjoy the outdoors a little bit. So maybe finding some activities that you can do outdoors. You know, maybe finding like a routine that you can follow that has to do with it doesn't have to, when we speak of weight training, it doesn't have to be weights. It doesn't have to be dumbbells. It can be our own body weight. As a matter of fact, 50% of, I would say, of the exercise that we do at my gym are all body weight. You know, that's because there's really gravity that we're fighting, right? So if we just learn maybe some body weight exercises, I would recommend, you could get a few bands, dumbbells, light things like that, and go outside. Because you ask yourself, what is it you like about walking? And you just answer that by saying you like being outside, you like maybe the nature, the scenery, and things like that. So let's take the gym outside for you, right? Let's do these exercises outside. So yes, and like you're saying, that is actually something that I do get a lot. So I'm like, okay, you know what, let's take our time and let's investigate a few things of even if it's not training with me in my gym is not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be in that group environment. Not everybody wants to be indoors. But I'm still going to help you find something for you, right? Because what we want to do is put ourselves in the best position for success. And that's in any field, right? But especially in business, in fitness. So that if you're doing some kind of exercise in an environment where you enjoy it, you won't find it so much like it's work, like it's a chore. You'll be able to do something, like you won't feel that hour, 2 hours passing by, right? You'll enjoy it more, and you'll be able to stick with this more for the long term and make it more of a lifestyle.
But you don't have to necessarily go into the gym and be doing the cardio on the treadmill.
Not at all.
In order to lose weight,
I
yeah.
cannot do 5 minutes on treadmill. It feels like an hour to me. So same thing with me. If I'm gonna do cardio, I'm gonna do it outside, or I'm gonna do some kind of activity that I enjoy. And I like weights, so I put my weights involved with the cardio.
Okay.
But yeah, that's number one. Is finding something that you can see yourself doing.
Yeah. So we were talking. Of course, one of the things we talked about here is that you said you're going to talk about the different myths. So you have certain myths that I think that everybody thinks, right? And I think one of them would be that's cardio, that we think that in order to lose weight, we have to be doing a lot of cardio, right? And so that's not necessarily true. Or there's different types of cardio, would you say? Or
Right. Well, number one is, so first we talk about the goal, right? Because it's the client's goal, is not my goal. And the goal that I hear the most is people want to tone up, they want to lose body fat, lose inches, want to feel better, right? And people always seem to run more towards cardio first, right? Which is good. It's great. It's great for heart health. I would never tell somebody stop doing your cardio, especially if you enjoy doing it. However, I would say especially females, they kind of tend to lean more towards cardio. It's a simple thought of it's logical. It's like, okay, I want to burn calories, I need to move more, and it does make sense, right? However, for the long term, it's not the most beneficial, because let's think about it like this: if we want to change our physique, we want to lose body fat, but we want to maintain our muscle, because that's what gives us the shape of our bodies, right? And for women, the curves, as we say. But we can only do that if we maintain our muscle and burn the fat. What happens with cardio, and especially excessive cardio, is that the body tends to burn as much fat as it does muscle, right? And that's not really getting you to your goal. And the reason why is because we want to keep muscle in our body, men and women. The more muscle you have in your body, the faster your metabolism, the more that you can eat, and you're shaping your body better, if you so my recommendation would be include some weight training in there. Because that's really what's going to shape your body. Because if we're realistic, we're not speaking of, we don't care so much about the scale. We have a certain vision of how we want to look, and that really comes down to inches. And the way that we lose inches is by incorporating, number one is going to be nutrition, some weight training, and just the right amount of cardio to burn those extra calories.
Yeah.
So it's just part of the equation. It's not the whole thing.
Yeah. So cardio's not it, and so the bottom line is that lifting weights is good for weight loss. It's not going to make us get bulky, right?
Right.
And cardio is not the only way to lose weight. I think that was kind of like the misconception. Or I guess it's a misconception, but I always thought that you did cardio to lose weight, and then once you lost the weight, that's when you did the weights to tone.
Right, and you kind of hit on point number one, the first myth there of, and this tends to be more with women, the fear of getting bulky. And again, a lot of it's just kind of logical thinking, which makes sense to me. It's kind of like, okay, if I do a lot of weight training while I see other people, I'm going to gain too much muscle, right? However, what we need to know is that for women, the testosterone level is not even like a quarter of what a man's testosterone level is. So it's hard enough for a man to put on muscle. So for a woman to put on muscle, it'll be very, very difficult. And when we see that, it's really not done naturally. So really, women can lift as much weights as intensely, as often, as much volume as men can, and they will actually, it'll help them build a little bit of muscle, but for the most part, it'll get them stronger. It'll shape their bodies. It'll build the legs, the glutes, kind of give them that shape that they want to see. And not only that, but if we're increasing muscle, again, the more muscle you have in your body, the faster the metabolism, the more body fat that you're burning 24 hours a day, not just that hour that you're in the gym.
So I really like that you had mentioned that the scale is not the best way to measure weight loss, because I don't even own one because it depresses me. So why do you say that? What are the disadvantages of having a scale?
Okay, wait, hold that thought. They want us to go to a commercial break, so let's go ahead and go to a commercial break, and then we'll answer that question. So we'll be right back with you guys, and then we're going to answer that question. We're going to come back with Walter, again, Be Strong Fitness, and we'll answer all those questions. Okay, so we are back with Casa Vida Houston, and we are back with Walter. We were asking him questions. Sonia, what was the question? I forget.
So I was mentioning that earlier I was mentioning to Walter that I would wake up when I used to have a scale. I got rid of it altogether because I would wake up and weigh myself, and I weighed 2 pounds less, and I'd get really excited. And at the end of the day before I went to bed, I'd weigh 5 pounds more. So it was really depressing,
yeah.
and I just threw it out altogether.
I've been there lots of times. So, Walter, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, you know, we want to think of the scale as a tool for that long-term progress that we're looking for, right? So we do have to use it every now and then to see, because we want to be going the right direction. However, what happens, like humans, we overdo things, right? So we don't want to jump on the scale all the time. And if you do see the weight, what happens is, here's what I want you to know, is that about 70% of our body is water, right? And what happens with water? Water fluctuates. Water goes up, water goes down. While you're drinking water, while you're sweating, while you're working out, when you have a high carb meal, you're also retaining water. You know, for women tend to fluctuate in water a lot more, you know, sometimes up to 5 up to 10 pounds in the water, you know. So if our water is always fluctuating daily, but body fat and muscle takes weeks and months to change, then whatever we're seeing on the scale as far as those daily changes are going to be water, right? And it's not always good for mentally for us to see those numbers. As much as we know that knowledge, we tend to kind of get discouraged a little bit, you know. Yeah. So again, it's something that we'll use as a tool, but it's not number one.
All right. Well, tell us. We're seeing some video here. This is video of your gym, right? Are people at your gym?
Yes. So, like as you can see in there, it's a lot of functional training equipment, a lot of body weight training that's in there. You know, the body's the best exercise equipment is to use the body itself. And if you're using the body itself as far as a lot of free weights and just functional training, you're gonna get stronger in just daily activities as opposed to just sitting on the machine and pushing that machine. So it's harder to do. It's a little bit harder to do, but in that case, you're getting a stronger core, you're getting a stronger back, you're burning more calories because, you know, these are not, you know, just your typical sitting down in the machine, you know. So of course you gotta learn good form, and it's a little bit more exciting, you know, to do, you know, free weights and just different kind of workouts, as opposed to just sitting down in the machine and just pushing and just counting reps. You know,
well,
so
it seems that, yeah, that seems like a lot of fun. I mean, they're doing it in a group, and not everybody's doing the same thing, right? I guess do they tend to move around? I guess in that kind of circle, like doing different things.
Yeah, we've got circuits where they rotate through there. You know, kind of getting full body workouts, keeping that heart rate up. So you know, every minute on this example right here, they're moving over to the next to the next set, you know, next exercise and performing that, you know. And it just keeps it more exciting. You can't hear the music, but the music is blasting, and you know, it just kind of creates that. For somebody who likes to be in that group environment, it makes it a lot of fun, you know. And again, it's not for everybody, but there's some people that kind of like, they feed off of each other's energy, you know, and they kind of make that competitive, you know, that competitiveness that we have within us, you know.
Right. So tell us, going back to the myths, what else? Any other myths that we're wrong about, that we think about, that you want to clarify?
Yeah, you know, and the thing about myths is not about being right or wrong. It's really about, because there's a lot of trends that come about, and we just tend to jump on that trend, and we don't think about why, or does it really fit us, right? So I always kind of slow the person down and be like, let's slow down, let's see, does this really fit you and your goal, right, and your lifestyle? We want to really base things on facts, because that's what's going to get us results. Now, one of the ones that we've been hearing for years is to not eat after a certain time. You know, do not eat, especially carbs, after 6 p.m., right? And I'm thinking, who came up with the 6 p.m. thing, right? What happens with the body at 6 p.m.? Does it just shut down the metabolism? You know, and no, our body's a lot smarter than that. The way it works is that it really works with the amount of calories that you feed your body in 24 hours. And the body will do what it needs to do. It'll put your carbs here, it'll put your protein here with the body. So no, that it doesn't, you know, you're still going to burn the same amount of calories if you eat after 6 p.m. So what you want to do is focus on the total calories that you've eaten throughout the day, and the total macros, how much protein, how much carbs, how much fats have you eaten on the day. The way that you divide that up is really up to you, you know, so whatever's going to work, you know, to your benefit to get to your goal. So I'll give you an example. Eating breakfast is not a do or die. You don't have to eat breakfast. However, if missing breakfast is causing you to make a bad choice during lunch and going and eating a Whataburger, then that scenario is not working for you. So breakfast might be the best situation for you, right? Same thing, you know, like if I'm training in the evening, then I'm going to have my dinner a little bit later. You know, it only makes sense because I have to feed my body to recover from that workout, right? So again, we all have different lifestyles, different schedules, different goals. So something like that is just a myth that, yeah, if somebody, it might have come back from where the thought that we're very active early in the morning and then at night we're kind of winding down. And that might be true that, yeah, then I would recommend a smaller meal in the evening because, you know, we want to match our meals with when we need the energy the most. But however, it's not always the case. Well, again, we have different lifestyles. Some people are more active in the evening. Some people work out in the evening, you know. So again, and that's where it comes down to customizing the program for you, you know, for your lifestyle.
Well, you've just thrown out all of my eating ideas out the window. So everything I've lived by for all of my life is out the window now because I've always considered breakfast to be the most important meal of the day, and I eat less as the day goes on, and a light dinner, and I'm starving in the morning, as I mentioned.
Yeah, and you know, with the takeaway there is, again, it's not that breakfast is bad. It's just that you want what works best for you.
Sure.
Whatever. For most people, breakfast works best. I eat breakfast because it keeps my hunger level steady throughout the day. You know, so again, I just want to leave you with. There's a lot of ways to get to your goal, right? But we have to pay attention to your lifestyle, pay attention to your preferences. That's going to be crucial because number one key to getting fit and getting to your goal is adherence. Can you stick with this for the long term? One thing that the great advice that I've heard is that if you don't see yourself doing this diet or this program 6 months from now, then it's not the program for you. You're setting yourself up for failure. So let's think more of long term.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Walter. I want to thank you for all your information. We've run out of time, but I do want to talk about we have a special that you have a special going on. Can you tell us a little bit about that real quick?
Absolutely. So everybody that's watching now on Facebook, I want a special offer for you. Is 2 weeks of free unlimited group training, 2 personal training sessions that includes a consultation, assessment, measurements, and everything, the whole nine. It's $199 value. You get that absolutely for free. Just contact me directly here on Facebook. You see the email address right there, phone number, or you can contact me on Facebook.
Wow, well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And that says it has to be redeemed by tomorrow, guys. So remember, this show is recorded, so you can go back and look at it and get the information from there. It's worth it to go out there to him. He's pretty far from me, but I don't know. I might try it anyway because trust me, something that I need. But anyway, I want to thank you so much. Really appreciate it, and thank you so much for that special offer.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Walter.
And Sonia, thank you so much for being our co-host. She is our guest co-host for the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll make it longer. We'll see how it goes. But I do appreciate you, being on our co-host.
Thank you, Liz, for having me, and thank you again, Walter. It was really great to hear this information.
And I want to go ahead and remind you that I'm Elizabeth Miranda with Miranda Properties. Remember that we are on this show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Casa, Vida, Houston, and if you're looking to sell your home, whether it's foreclosure, you're behind on your payments, anything that you have, we will help you with a solution. Just give us a call. There's my cell phone number, 832-878-1255. You can contact me anytime, Monday through Saturday till 8 p.m. And of course, Sonia, what is your phone number in case someone wants to contact you?
The phone number is 832-790-9140. Feel free to contact me for all of your business development needs, or if you have some construction projects that you'd like more information about.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, and we will see you next Thursday.
El programa anterior fue un programa pagado.